Man, I'm tired of eating just pickles. If only there was something I could make to use up all these pickles. Welcome back to the channel. Some of you are probably wondering why I own a 5-gallon bucket of pickles. Well, that's a story for another day. But today, we're making burgers, so let's go. So I had a request from a subscriber to make more videos with the Anova Precision Oven, so that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make Joshua Weissman's burger bun recipe, and we're gonna proof the dough and bake them in the Anova oven. So I'll show you the settings I use for both of those steps. I'm not gonna go super into detail about making the burger buns because Joshua Weissman has a video on that. I'll link it in the description down below, but here we go. So step one here, we're making our tangzong. We're just gonna mix together the flour, water, and milk until it gets a nice paste consistency. That's looking like a pretty good paste to me. Now for our dough, we're gonna work on combining all the ingredients. We got our flour in the bowl here. I'm gonna add our sugar and our salt and our yeast and just give it a little whisk by hand. Milk and our tangzong, which I put in the fridge just to cool down real fast. Dough hook. Now that the dough is pulling together, we're gonna go in with our eggs. So I am gonna add just a little bit more bread flour to help pull this dough together. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of butter piece by piece. All right, let me turn that off for a second so you guys can hear me. So while our dough is going, we're gonna go ahead and get our oven up and running for proofing mode. So I'll show you how that's done through the app. We're going to open the Anova app, and then there's actually a pre-set setting for proofing. And this is gonna allow us to choose the temperature we want to proof at. Joshua Weissman uses 77 degrees, so that's what we're gonna choose too. And this will just take a few minutes to get up and going. Our dough is done mixing, so we'll go ahead and pull it off the stand mixer here. So I'm gonna drop that in, wash my hands real fast, and then I'll meet you over at the proofer. So we have our Anova oven set to 77 degrees, and it's riding a little high right now at 79. I think it'll elevate, but I'll watch it. I can always turn it down just a bit. But the cool thing about using the Anova oven as a proofer is that we do not need to cover this because we're not worried about our dough drying out. The oven is injecting humidity, so we have 60% humidity in there, so we don't have to worry about the dough getting dry. So we'll just make sure this is set for 77, 60%. And Josh says hour and a half to proof. Let's go right in the middle at an hour and 15 minutes. And when the timer's up, we'll be back. All right, it has been just about an hour and 15 minutes and our dough is proofed. As you can see there, it's doubled in size, which means it's ready to go. So we'll portion it out and then we'll throw it back in for the second proof. So we have our dough here and I'm just gonna punch it down to degas it. I'm just going to shape this kind of into a log. This just makes it easier to portion. Cut it in half, split each half into thirds. Some of them might be a little bigger than others, but that's all right. Another technique that helps, you can see, I kind of have an open hand here and I'm just spinning in a circle. There we go. All right, so these are gonna go back in the Anova oven at 77 degrees for about another hour. And once again, we don't need to cover these with anything because of the steam injection. While our buns are proofing, we might as well do something. So let's go ahead and make some caramelized onions. So I'm just gonna put a pan over medium heat and add just a little bit of ghee. You can use oil, whatever you like. Butter will work. And I'm gonna throw in our onions. Healthy pinch of salt. This is gonna take quite a while to break down. If you notice that your onions are sticking or starting to burn, just add a little bit of water and stir them and just keep repeating that until they look nice and caramelized. All right, so our buns have been proofing for almost an hour. We have about 10 minutes left, so I'm gonna go ahead and crank up the oven to 375 for baking. And then we'll bake them. They're looking really good and puffy. In the app here, we're just gonna change the setting to bake at 375. We're gonna leave our rack height on the bottom shelf. Here's an update on our caramelized onions. As you can see, they really cooked down and they still got a ways to go to get nice and golden brown. Our oven is almost preheated, so let's get these ready to go in. Now, one thing I wanna show you is we didn't have any cover on these buns. And when you touch the dough, it's not dried out. It's nice and moist to the touch, which is great. Like I said, the humidity in there, 60% humidity, is keeping the buns nice and moist. Egg wash here. Our Anova oven is preheated, so it's time to go in. And we're gonna put these in for about 18 minutes. All right, well, it has only been 10 minutes and our burger buns are already done. I temped them to make sure. They're kind of dark on the top. One thing I realized is the bake setting automatically defaults to using the rear fan. So I turned that off about halfway through the cook, but they're still, you know, they're already done. They look pretty good. They're huge. I mean, some of these burger buns, like this is ginormous. This one's about a normal size burger bun. And our caramelized onions are done. They're nice and thick and jammy, just like I wanted them, and those are gonna be delicious. Well, as you know, we are making burgers, and the Anova oven is awesome for sous videing, especially without a bag. So I figured, why not sous vide a burger and make it a juicy Lucy? Because that is a perfect application for it. So we got our cheese here. I cut this one into a perfect ring. This one, not so much, but it's gonna be good. I have 3 ounce balls of ground beef, and I'm just gonna make a patty out of each side. We'll put our cheese puck right there in the middle, and we'll do the same to our second burger patty. Place this one on top, and then I gotta seal the edges. We have our patties shaped up, so we're gonna go ahead and season them with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and then we'll get them in the oven. And remember, always season both sides. We are going to sous vide our burgers at 135 for about an hour. Now, because we have a few pickles, we gotta figure out something to do with them. So we are gonna make a quick burger sauce. I'm actually gonna use Greek yogurt instead of mayonnaise. So I'm gonna throw some Greek yogurt in the bowl here, and I'm just eyeballing everything. Take our pickle and chop it up. So we will go in with our pickle spear, a little bit of ketchup, yellow mustard, pepper, garlic powder, salt. We still have quite a few pickles left. We are making our way through them. We need some pickle juice. Oh, we forgot an important ingredient. A little bit of sugar. And that should be good. Our burgers just came out of the Anova Precision Oven, and they're looking great. I'm gonna sear them to get a nice crust on them. Before we sear our burgers, we need to pat them dry. This will help them sear up better. Slice our burger bun in half here. Super light and fluffy. The bottoms aren't really super done, and I think when I cooked them in the Anova oven, I did it on that bake setting. I think that kind of contributed to it. Also, maybe using the parchment paper. We may or may not have sampled the burger. So this is round 2. So once they get nice and golden brown on those sides, we'll pull them off and then we'll start searing the burgers. Buns are looking nice and toasted. Let's spread our ghee all the way around the pan. The surface is dry, so that'll help us get a nice crust on it. And we're gonna go for about probably 30 seconds to a minute on each side. Now remember, this is just to get color on the burgers and to develop that flavor. And we're gonna put our slices of cheese on our patties here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of water in the pan and throw a lid on so the cheese melts up nice. All right, the moment of truth. It is time to assemble our burger. So we're gonna go in with some of this burger sauce on each side. And then we're gonna go in with our lettuce, tomato, delicious looking burger. Not only do we have cheese inside, we have cheese on top. More pickles, even though we already have pickles in that sauce. I like pickles and I've got a lot of them. Those caramelized onions. Oh, that looks like a good burger. That sounds like a juicy burger. Ready? Oh, wow. So that burger is cooked perfectly sous vide. We've got the cheese in the middle, we got the cheese on the top. I think it's time to go in for a bite. That is a delicious burger. The sous vide, perfect cooked on it. Super juicy, cheesy. That burger sauce has a great flavor. The buns are awesome too. I really like the sesame seeds, but I just can't help but feel like it's missing something. Let's go right up the door. Much better. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. The Anova Precision Oven is an awesome tool. We used it to proof our dough, we used it to bake our buns, and we used it to sous vide our burgers. Comment down below if you have suggestions for other videos Anova Precision Oven related or anything else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Wanna try some? Good girl, what do you think? Pretty yummy, huh? Pretty yummy.